But former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee took it a step further. He suggested in a radio interview that gay rights activists want to make churches a thing of the past.
The left has gotten very good at creating a crisis, something to divide the country. Well, it won't stop until there are no more churches, until there are no more people who are spreading the gospel. And I'm talking now about the unabridged, unapologetic gospel that is really God's truth.
Joining me now, CNN political commentator Michael Smerconish, host of Smerconish Show here on CNN. Nice to see you, my
too,
friend.
always.
I know you are just about to talk to Governor Huckabee, and I'm sure this will be one of the topics you'll ask him about. But let me just ask you, in hearing him say that, what do you think his motivation was?
I think he says what he really means. I don't think he's an individual who puts his finger to the wind. You can disagree about what Governor Huckabee has to say, but I believe that the sort of statements that he offers, he believes at his core. He's not a guy who's out there doing polling and then deciding.
He's not thinking,
this is what
maybe I'll float an idea for running for president. I want to,
He's not the blow-dried candidate. He's not one of them.
Okay, so he really believes it.
I think he really believes it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that he believes that there is a war of sorts. He didn't use those words, but going on against the practice of Christianity, and that he views this in that context. What I note is that both sides in this controversy think that they're being discriminated against. Gays and lesbians think they're the victims of discrimination, and as Governor Huckabee says, you know, he believes that it's the vendor of the cake, because we all talk about the cake scenario.
Right.
It occurs to me that maybe the person who is being victimized is the atheist. Because under RFRA, the way that it was initially drawn in Indiana, a person of faith who says, I don't want to serve that gay couple, is going to receive some level of protection under the law. But how about an atheist baker who just doesn't like gays and lesbians and says, well, I don't want to serve them, but doesn't get to point at RFRA for that protection?